And welcome everybody. We are back with Yashi or wow.
Wow.
Ooh,
That hurt. We are back to 86.
Hey guys, Kirito Silverheart here.
and this is Asuna Silverheart.
And this is Lyria. And yeah, I didn't mess up my intro. Woo.
I'm the one that messed up my intro.
Yeah, I was,
gonna say, yeah,
Rain
it's Wolf's
Wolf
turn this week.
might have hurt his a little, so it's all fair. Everything's okay.
And thanks for joining us. Anyone that's here from last week or just first time joining us, as we said, we have been covering a number of series over the past COVID pandemic, such as SAO, Yashihime, as I slaughtered through my intro, and now we are to 86. If you like any of our content, remember we have playlists and check out some of our other content that we've done through what we normally do before this whole COVID thing happened. So as we start into 86, kind of an interesting little, because all we see is the HUD of one of the juggernauts, a fire, then it cuts straight into the opening.
Yeah, it was a very short intro. I was a little surprised by that.
It set up the tone. I think. I mean, the episode's called "I Don't Want to Die," so we all knew someone was
going
probably gonna die. As Lyria and I have said before, this we have set up fully for this is gonna be awful, and we're gonna cry a lot. So we're prepared. I think mentally.
Why do you hurt me, anime? Why?
Larry, you should do that thing you did last week, remember?
Oh, yes, yes. From the studio that brought you pain comes another anime filled with pain.
That's gonna make you cry.
Yes. All the tears.
In the other series that we were actually kind of blending or kind of going off of how the story of this is being told is, I know I'm probably going to pronounce this probably wrong slightly, is Elfen Lied.
Elfen Lied.
My tongue doesn't want to work today. So we are jumping into this. As the opening goes off, we have pretty much three of the guys. They're just chatting. He's pretty much making lunch. It's like, and then one of them is like, let's go. I was like, where are the girls at? Oh, they went to go clean themselves and stuff like that. It's like, oh, we're going to die tomorrow. It's like, you say that all the time, Hadaro.
It gave like a little slice of life thing. Was it appropriate? No. Like, there was no consent involved. These guys are like jerks. But it was
the
kind of
typical
funny.
males in an anime that
I'm not gonna argue with you on that. But you know,
Just wanted to see some boobies before they died.
Yes, I mean
it's understandable. Yeah.
Lyria approves
I approve.
booby seeing.
I would be the same. So
I mean,
well, you'd be able to get away with it. You're a female, so you'd be fine. There's like, no, you're not going to see Andrew. It's like, no, you'll definitely see her for Andrew.
Yeah,
and that's not the issue. And then he's trying the dude cooking the meal. He's like, I can't remember his name at the moment. He's trying to be all manly. It's like, no, we can't do this. They're our fellow comrades.
No, he wasn't
before
manly.
We are men and women.
Chivalrous.
We are comrades above all.
He was very chivalrous, and he still fell for it. And he is weak and squishy.
Yes, he is. And it jumps over to the girls, the water splashing and stuff like. They're like, "Kitty, what are you doing? Stop sitting over there and join in the fun." Anju's off on the side.
I love this scene
Fred
because
Chan, is that what we were gonna call her? Fred Chan, because she's the one that gave she gives like the snacky cakes and the bread.
Oh, Anju, yes.
Yes, she's Bread Chan.
Bread Chan.
I love Bread Chan. She's epic. She is maternal. Very maternal, and I like the maternal. I usually I gravitate to the maternal.
She really gives off that maternal vibe this time, definitely, when the other girls are playing. She's sitting there, and then you got the other girl that's just sitting on the rocks, and then she splashes, like, kicks some water at her.
Yeah, and she's like, you go play with them, have fun, enjoy yourself. She felt very maternal. If something happens to Bread Chan, I'm going to be very sad. So, just so you know, I really enjoy her.
Okay, but let's face it, if we took this scene like out of the context of the series, you would almost look at this like river waterfall scene and think that this was some kind of a harem anime.
Yeah, I mean,
You would,
honestly,
definitely.
that
If they
that's
didn't have
kinda,
the vibes it has already, fully agree.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could have been mistaken for something like that, but it's definitely not a harem anime. This is a very dark anime.
Yeah, like this honestly gave me some flashbacks back to our discussions about SAO. This is Asuna, Shinon, all of them just sitting around talking about, oh, Kirito's so cute, oh, Kirito's so hot and everything, and then like some of them being like, I don't want to admit it, but yeah, I'd jump him.
They do end up getting to that discussion of that of the Undertaker, of Shin. Like, our captain does understand that. It's like, because they've already, it's like, he's never changes his expressions. What do you find in him?
So well, Karina, was that her name? She's very much about him, but she's in complete denial that she's
No,
about him.
Kaie.
Oh, okay. Well, no, she has another name. They call her something else.
Kai is her real name, but yeah, I don't remember
Kai
what
is her real name, but I don't remember. Is she Gunslinger?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Okay, so Kaie is the brunette. Her call sign is Kirschblüte.
That's Kaie.
Yeah.
It wasn't Kaie. It's the one
redhead.
with the pinkish
Karina.
red. Karina is the one that's
Yeah,
in the
that's
hardcore
Gunslinger.
denial that keeps saying no. No, the brunette that chimed in later that said, "Well, if you're not interested, you know, she would show him the way of Yobi."
I can go after him myself, right?
Yeah, and Yobi is, for anybody who doesn't know, it's actually it's a Japanese cultural thing. It's kind of like it would be a hookup, pretty much. It's night crawling, is what it is. So in rural parts of Japan, one of the things that they would do before marriage sometimes is that it was usually secretive. Sometimes the family knew, but they wouldn't talk about it. But like one of the unmarried couple would sneak into the other one's room late at night, make their intentions known, and then they would have fun. And if it was fun on both sides, usually it ended up in a marriage. If it maybe wasn't as fun, it wouldn't. But that's what Yobi is. So when they're giving that whole ordeal where she's like, maybe I'll show him the way of Yobi, that's what she's talking about. She's like gonna go put the moves on him. And I thought that was interesting. I thought that was pretty funny. And it's brought up later too, of course, a few minutes later. But so yeah, they're definitely giving
Each other
Karina,
crap.
yeah, a very hard time. They talk about how cute she is. It's repetitively said she's very cute. This immediately, for Kirito and I both gave us vibes that this was going to be bad, and we were very concerned for her. But it's a nice little bit of distraction, and it's showing you how they unwind, how they kind of keep.
They try to have their own life, try to have a life, even though
Yeah,
they are put in
because
this situation.
and that's
that
the
they're
way
in.
it is. That's the realism of war. Okay, so it's not a constant, yeah, you're afraid and you're in this constant fear and you're in this battle, but life still goes on. So it gives you, it's almost like it kind of was odd. It was like a little slice of life anime feel to it for a few moments. But I mean, that's part of it. That's that's the realism of the war, is that it's not 24/7, that they do have moments where they can enjoy it. It also does this thing where it makes us very attached to these characters, and then as Lyria said, from the studio that brought us pain, we will experience more pain.
So after the girls are giving crap to each other about Shin, it zooms out to the guys in the bushes.
Yeah, you've got Daya, Haruto, and Theo all hanging out and hiding in the bushes. And I'm not gonna lie, like I was getting some real creep vibes off of
That
Daya in
heavy
this scene.
breathing
Yes,
was
yes.
so
The heavy-
distracting.
Yes, he's like,
He
I was
is
like,
like,
what the
"What?"
hell are you doing in the bush?
And you're supposed to be the chivalrous one.
We don't want to know what he was doing in the bush.
He was having an aneurysm, I hope. Like, I
He
don't
even made some
know.
comments like, "You're staring harder than we are."
Yes.
Yeah, Theo calls it out. He was just like, why are you even here to keep an eye on you too? It's like, well, you're staring harder than we are.
Uh-huh.
And he still has his spoon from where he was cooking. Like, and he's holding it in front of his mouth. And I'm just like, no, just walk away,
This is
please.
very creepy.
Daya,
Like,
stop.
Multiple targets in sight. fire! Are you insane? And the
Oh, yeah.
quick draw. All these girls.
Oh my god.
They are in war. Like,
I don't
listen,
give a crap.
if Lyria and I were out somewhere taking a bath in a lake, and somebody come up in there and we had weapons,
Yeah, we
yeah,
would.
not
These
a-
girls-
Also, we would probably trip and fall and
The
hurt ourselves.
synchronization.
yeah, we would. But we would.
No.
I have
Have-
threatened Kirito with a flip flop more times than I can remember. Like, I am quick draw
But-
with a flip flop
But
if
the
I have
problem
to
is,
throw it.
this many girls with this synchronization and that fast of quick draw.
They are
Mhm.
military.
That doesn't
Okay.
matter.
I mean, they have been in this for 4 years. Let's not forget about this. They have been together and through this crap for 4 years.
They're not playing
Okay.
around, man. So he wished that on himself when he fell in there.
he
had
didn't
it
want
coming.
to fall. He got pushed.
He didn't fall in there. Yeah, he got shoved in there. Like the other boys were just like, "Hey, let's get him messed up." Whoosh.
They knew that they were gonna probably die tomorrow, so why not die?
What is it that they
Why
said?
not-
The one was it Laughing Fox that said what was it he said? He was like, "We'll remember you" or something like
Yes.
that. We'll never forget you.
We'll never forget you.
No.
I- Kirito, like, no, I feel like this is Kirito and Rainwolf with
Picking on Himi.
Himi, Team Himi, yeah.
Yes,
well,
We would
Yes,
shove
yes.
Himi right. Himi would be
Himi would
Daya in this
go
situation.
Out that
Himi
bush
watching
and
Kari.
BB. Yeah, I could see you guys doing that to Himi. He would, and Himi would be the type too that we're not going. I stand by it, and then he'd go down there and just be staring harder than everybody else.
We love you,
Sorry.
brother. If you watch this, we love you.
We do love you.
But okay, so I love this next thing that happens is because as soon as they put the guns away because they realize it's
Andrew
Daya,
comes over with the
they
belt.
all just get this grin and pick up rocks.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm screwed. They start chucking stones at him, pegging the crap out of him. One of them hurls a knife.
Yes,
I
He's
already
my
have a feeling I knew
favorite
who that was.
I know that was my favorite one.
That's Andrew right there.
Yeah,
She
because
came over with a belt like a hot minute later.
yes.
She was given hard dominatrix vibes, and I love everything.
I was
about
getting ready
it.
to say, can we just call it out now that
Red
Anju is
Chan's
totally a top?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is totally love her. Love Bread Chan.
And it's like, can you say "Are you okay" in a cute voice? You know, Anju. It's like, oh my, are you okay? And show yourselves.
Yep, they.
Yeah, Kaie takes a stone and whips that thing so hard it angles at an arc through the bush and pegs Theo square in the head.
He had it coming.
And they all throw it at Daya.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, we do something wrong with the asses. Like, why can't you just use the parade? It's like, well, you wouldn't want to interrupt the fun you girls are having, right?
Yeah, it'd be awkward if you guys were talking about romance stuff. Like, for example, if Karina was saying, I love Shin. Oh, wait, she was saying that.
I know.
So I was really hoping, I was really, really, really hoping that Daya would play it off with the whole thing about the boar and like, how do you guys want your boar prepared tonight? Or, do you
I
guys
thought
want
he
to
was
take
going to
everything?
come down and say
Daya
we
is
needed
not
help
that
because
smart.
we have that we have a board. We need help. I waited for it. He obviously is not that smart.
No.
Yeah.
Painfully so. Bless him.
So they go all Spanish Inquisition on them and they're like, so what is it you want to ask? And he's like, what's Yobi?
Oh my god. That was
The other
worst
two just
decision.
like, nope, I'm out of here.
Yeah, that was a bad decision.
And an ass whooping ensues.
The other two, like, as soon as he asked the question, like,
Bye, Felicia.
so they jump in now. They're having the conversation with Lena, right? If I remember correctly.
Hmm. Yeah.
But that hadn't
Halo
started
1
yet. You
Lena.
skipped the spot.
No,
Yes, you did.
after the whole finasco with,
You skipped the
You-
spot.
I did. I have the scene up right in front of me.
Skipped the spot.
What did
What
he
did I
say?
miss?
When Karina was talking to.
No. That's
No, he skipped the spot.
no, they didn't.
You got it.
I've got it pulled up too.
I hate you guys.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
I don't
it
have a-
transitions straight from the river over to back to the bunker.
I was doing it off of memory, and there was. Okay, fine. I'll give it to you.
Then Lena's like, there's rats. And then it's actually where
Karina had stormed out of the room and slammed the door.
And we saw how bad of a butt kicking he got earlier. That dude is bandaged.
Mhm.
But to into all seriousness, she's upset that Shin is talking to Lena almost every night whenever she contacts them. It's like we might die tomorrow. It's like just for now. She'll stop calling eventually. I don't think so. Even with what happens.
Mhm.
But why talk to this pig? Shin should just break her already. As we find out from Dai, he's like Shin really doesn't want to break the handlers. It just happens to come to that point. He's really not that bad of a person.
Yeah, it really makes me wonder just like how bad the handlers have been to these people. You know, for a man who doesn't want to break the handlers to just go, you know what, F it, and does his own things and sends them on a psychotic break.
Okay, so I have a thing about the handlers from the light novel, which I've not gotten too far. But in the first chapter of the light novel, it talks about how a bunch of the other handlers were really, really bad, and they would pretty much play a game where they would see how many the juggernauts and stuff that they would die. They would pretty much have contests to see whose team could die the fastest.
Oh,
Mm.
wow.
Mentioned in the light novel about how most of the handlers didn't care, and it was just a game of, oh yeah, let's let all these people die.
So they're literally playing chess with human lives, basically.
Almost like Wizard's chess.
Well, I have a very bad feeling anyway about
Nice
this
reference.
whole war and the situations that are going on. I don't feel like the war is what they say the war is. I don't, and I almost feel like they're doing some type of, and this is something I'm going to call out. And I've not read the light novel. I know some of us here have. Leary, I
think the
know
only
did.
ones that
Leary was
haven't
supposed to. Leary was supposed to, and some
Kanon.
other people read ahead too.
I
I'm
haven't
not saying
read,
names.
so I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm not saying any names. I know
Oh, I
somebody
already know
read
who.
some, but I have a feeling, Rainwolf and I haven't, and I have a feeling like this is some type of premeditated genocide set up. They have set this up. It's some type of game to them. It's nothing in. It's a way for them to get rid of their quote unquote undesirables, the 86. I don't think they necessarily need to have this war. I feel like somewhere with the robots, this has something to do with them. This has nothing to do with the empires attacking us, or the robots have overthrown the empire and the robots are attacking us.
I didn't
This
really
doesn't.
think about that.
I feel
It's
like
kind
this
of a
is
way
something
of pretty much.
yeah,
As
it's a
we've,
genocide.
I'm going to make a little drop here, as we've said before. Even we said a little bit in the last episode, but we didn't say much or a little warning that things will get a little dark. There will be some topics that will probably touch here and there.
Hmm.
Just a heads up before we go any deeper.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just go
The
ahead and call it
trigger
out real
warning,
quick.
yeah.
It's even been stated in the light novel by the author and the creator of 86 himself that he was really into history, and one of his biggest draws was World War II, and just the different themes that come about with that. Fascism, racism, race wars, the class system, discrimination, and all this stuff, and the fact that it doesn't revolve just around this one time period. Oh, we can look at events of the modern day. I'm not trying to get political or anything here, but we can look at events of the modern day even and see where different aspects of this come into play in our current lives and situations. All the way back, spanning through history.
Yeah.
There's going to be touchy subjects, and if this isn't your type of deal, sorry, that's what we're here to discuss.
So it's like, but yeah, I do feel like that's what this is. I feel like there's something in me that feels like this war isn't what they're saying it is. But I could be wrong. I had a lot of theories when we were doing Yashahime, and some of them were right, and some of them were wrong, and some of them were really cool, and I wish they were true.
Amen to that.
I'm the theory lady, so I come up with these different ideas. So I guess we'll have to watch and see if that's really what's going on. But I'm just very distrusting, and as Lyria said, where she's read the light novel, the fact that she realized, she's read that and that they play like this weird game, it really pings with me on that even harder. And it's horrible. It's
I agree.
horrible.
It is.
And that makes sense why, there's so much animosity, I think, that they have toward the handlers.
Yeah. So going further, they come back from the hallway and they're talking. The conversation we come into is all these stars are falling down from the sky like rain. It's kind of interesting conversation to come back to after the kind of deep conversation they had in the hall. Shin taps to the seat next to him for her to sit. We find out from Black Dog, is what his name is,
Black Dog.
that on
Yep.
both sides, all men were annihilated. Right, Undertaker? Then he makes a comment, it's like, oh, I'm not going to repeat what I said at that time. Then Undertaker throws him under the bus. The
It
words,
was kind of sweet though.
If this is the last thing I get to see, then I guess it's not so bad or something along those lines.
Yeah.
hmm It's like, you have a dog too? It's like, well, he doesn't really go wolf, he goes beep.
Yeah, because they
And-
were
and they're
talking
making a
about they
reference
were
to the
stuck
robot
there
that we
without
saw last
gas
week.
until Fido showed up. Yeah. And Fido is the robot who I love so much.
Who I equate to Dummy from the Iron Man movies.
Dummy. I forgot about Dummy.
The whole gang laughs at Shin as he repeats what was Black Dog had said during that time frame. The cat is getting into Karina's face. It's like,
Yeah.
then they go
Did
into
we
conversation.
did we go into the part where Karina was talking about her parents? Before she went back in there? We didn't go into that.
No, we
thing.
didn't.
Yeah, Karina actually was talking about her parents and why she hated the Alba so much.
Yeah, this is the hallway conversation between
Yep.
her and Daya.
Before they went back and they were talking about the meteor shower, she was saying that they had killed her parents. They used her parents as target practice, is what she said, which is horrific to think about.
And again, plays straight into what Asuna was saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And she hates the Alba. She hates them all. Handlers, not hand. She just hates them. She has that undying hate that will not go away, which I'm sure, she's a very traumatized. She was a child. She's very traumatized from it.
And then we get from Kablut,
Kirschblut.
Kishblut,
Yeah, Kaya.
Kaya. Like, do you hate us? Is what she asks. And just like, then she goes into that. I've lived in the camps. I've met others that were kind or that have treated friends of mine in a nice way, and then there's ones that have treated us in complete terrible manners. So she is one of the ones that she's experienced both sides. So she doesn't have a full hatred, but she still does have that hatred.
There's still pain.
And she's one of the more mature members of the group, I feel, but she does have that kind of, I don't know, Anne Frank level deep down hope in humanity, because she says, I'm sure there are good Alba out there too, but I've never met any of them.
And and then you would find out with Laughing Fox, he's drawing. And then as she's talking, you notice his tone change.
Yeah, his face changes, his pen strokes get heavier and faster, and you can definitely tell this conversation is rubbing him the wrong way. He is not happy about the idea of trying to be friends with the Alba at this point.
No. And then she gets up and asks, I have a question for you. Then it goes over to the title screen. I don't want to die.
And again, I love the way this series is designed, because pre-title screen, pre-title card, I should say, we have the 86's view, and now we're going into Lena's view.
And it kind of steps a little further. In this case, it actually went a little back before this whole conversation takes place. It looks like Shin had asked her for a map. So now her and her very close friend are in this old
Annette.
storage room, and they're
Yeah,
searching.
and you can obviously tell that this place is not used. It is nasty. It is dusty as hell, to the point where, like, Annette's wearing a respirator mask and Lena's just wearing a basic mask. But I mean, they're actually wearing face protection, like, for breathing hazards.
Yeah, because it's so dusty, and
All
I
do with
feel
paper.
yeah, we're at a point with the war where it's like I said, they have like 2 years left, and a lot of these people have checked out and they don't care anymore.
Well, and
So
also
they're not using the things they have available to them, because a lot of the higher up military doesn't care.
Well, there's that, but also look at what they use. They use high-end technology. They don't use paper and
True. But it's like she said, they don't have that out there. The 86 do not have that out there. They have their mechs, but even their mechs are in like a horrible state of disrepair, a lot of them. yeah, she can send them things, but as they've said before, during battle, they have the problem of if they get pinged with these images, the robots can see them.
Yeah.
And so they have that issue. So that's another problem. So they need these types of things. They need these old school type of techniques and things that they need. Also, a little jump in something when they were back when we were on the 86's view when Shin was sitting there reading with the cat on his lap. The book he was reading was All Quiet on the Western Front, if anyone was curious. I happened to catch that.
I didn't
title.
catch that at all.
Yeah, I saw the title on the book when it panned to one of the side views. And I think that explains a lot. It explains he's reading about things, about war while he's in the middle of a war. Everything he does, and it's very much like Lena, everything they do is to try to help and to try to make sense of the things that are going on right now.
Yeah. Then not Lena, but her friend asked us like, "Why are you still doing this?" And it's like, don't get involved any deeper. They're 86, and then she starts reaching up for this map or what they don't know is a map at first. The stack of papers that are on top of shelf pulls it down, box falls. You know to find out it's a map.
A mushroom cloud of dust.
Yeah, it's like you owe me dinner.
I want to like her friend, but there's something about her friend where she's very disillusioned. And she's been raised in this. So she's accepting, like, on the
Well,
way.
she's also the lead scientist, one of the lead
Yeah.
scientists. So
She
Yeah,
is.
Annette is actually, I think, the project leader of the Pararaid system. Her father, if I'm not mistaken, is the one that developed the software
Mhm.
and the hardware also that allows the controllers, the handlers, to talk to the processors, aka the 86.
Yeah, she's very, like, it's a little disconcerting, but I mean, I also, you have to remember that this is how a lot of them were raised.
I have
Not to
a
care.
50-50 with her. I don't really
I do
have.
too.
I'm
Yeah.
not one side. She really doesn't give enough expression, but also she doesn't really say enough to really throw her to either side. Really,
Unless she turns on Lena straight out, and I really don't think she
Yeah.
will turn on Lena. I could be wrong. And if she does, I hate her face. But unless she turns on, I don't think she would. I think she generally cares for her friend, and she worries
does.
about her friend. But also, I think she's, like, very disillusioned by all of this, and it's bothersome how much she's just like, oh, they're 86. Don't worry about it. Why are you so concerned with this? This isn't a big deal. This is how they were
But-
raised, but she's still willing to help her friend. So it's a very weird. It's a very weird
Ground.
thing with her. Yeah, and she makes me uncomfortable. And I think she's one of those characters that I guess it's kind of they're supposed to make us uncomfortable. I think it's supposed to be because this is their daily life, and she's not necessarily one of the uber like awful evil handlers or bad people,
No.
but she's also doesn't care. She's like very just much like, well, my life still has to go on, and I still have to do this, and I have to get married, and I have to do all this shit stuff, and, like, I don't know. It's very unsettling to me.
Yeah.
But I think it's supposed to make us that way.
to find out if because she's the one person that truly listens to Lena that's on the Republic side.
Yeah.
Besides
You
her
know?
uncle, but her uncle is
He keeps Lena out of trouble, I guess, with it.
yeah. 'Cause
And
her uncle, I have kind of a 50-50 with him as well because he's protecting Lena even though with how outspoken she is about her thoughts on the 86. So it's like if he's been protecting her this whole time, then there's probably I don't think there's a full like he's 100%, but there's probably a probability that he kind of has the same thought process as her, but he's afraid.
there's something up. But, like, it's very bothersome that he also set her into a group that is known to where handlers have been known to have, like, nervous breakdowns and suicides and stuff like that.
I also
think
think
he
he
knew
knows he can handle it and
She can
also
take it. Yeah.
turn things around.
That's what maybe he was hoping.
But we won't know until further we see more dialect with him or even
Yeah.
and now we get turned after this whole they find the map and everything. It goes over to Lena's side. It's a lot of the dialect is the same. There's a few little things added here and there. She even brings up the cat, where they actually didn't give her a description last time. They actually give her one this time.
She wants to know its name, and that cat has 30 names. It's your typical stray cat. Like, people give, I've noticed this, like, people give stray cats, like, the most random names. It's kind of like that joke about, like, cat owners and dog owners. Like,
Mhm.
where it's like, dog owners, they give their dogs names like Kevin and Bethany. And these respectable names. Cat owners will like literally call your cat Meatloaf and not think twice about it. Quesadilla. Like, it's probably because you don't have to go out in public and yell that. So
Tabby, queso.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I refer to our giant orange cat as
Two-tone.
I refer to our giant orange cat as Tubby Lumpkin. I'm not ashamed.
Mhm.
So
Oh, that's Orion for you.
that is Orion is Tubby Lumpkin, but it's kind of like that. They have a bunch of different names for this little cat, and it's two-tone cat. I like the fact that Undertaker was naming it whichever author he's reading at that particular time. He gives it their name, their last name.
Sadly, I could see him doing that.
So I thought that was kind of comical.
Then after all these little tidbits, we get to the point where we hear the question that was asked to Lena before it jumped over to them in the room looking for the map. You're a virgin, aren't you?
Oh, no.
No.
The original question
No.
was, why do you care about us so much?
And that was the key to, she delves into that, and she talks about how when she was in the war zone, she was rescued by a processor. Someone saved her.
And his words to her were, we are members of the Republic. We were born here and we grew up here. It's a citizen's duty to protect his country, and I'm proud to do it. That's why we fight.
Yep.
And she took those words to heart, and she thinks that that's an example to live up to. Because of that moment, she felt like, okay, the 86, aka the pigs, they're just as human as we are. She doesn't see that dividing line of race, creed, and color like everybody else in the military and throughout the nation does. She believes that people are people. White, black, green eyes, blue eyes, silver eyes, whatever. She thinks that everyone should think that way, and she's having a really hard time understanding why people don't. So she's trying to do what she can to make them feel human and respected.
Yeah. And then the question that leads up to it when she asks her if she's a virgin is because she's like, I'm asking, and she tells her, I'm asking you that because you see the world as like a bed of flowers. Like, and she
Yeah.
does. She's very naive about it. Like, there is a naivety, I guess.
She even makes the comments like, you're not cut out for this job.
Yeah.
And then you see the expression that comes across Lynn's face. You shouldn't get involved. And then she even makes the comment, it's like, you shouldn't get involved with us. You're not fighting for noble reasons like those.
Yeah, they're fighting to stay alive. I mean, at this point, their group is just fighting to make it out.
Yeah.
Undertaker's almost done with his term.
Mhm.
A lot of them are just trying to fight to get out, or hopefully get out. I still have my reservations about that too. So it's like, and they know that, and they do. I think at that moment there is this, like, they almost feel bad for her.
Yeah. Because of how innocent minded she is.
Yeah, she's still very naive to the things that are really going on.
Then it jumps over to a battle, and what we come to find out is the battle that kind of gives us right before the opening.
Mm-hmm.
They're moving through and going through this fight and everything. It's like Roger, it's like Gunslinger, and then they're asking. She's looking at the map and actually tells Gunslinger to go to this location that's actually above, or is pretty much a higher position than everybody else, and that Lowe's can't fire to that height.
Yeah, so they won't be able to barrage her. She'll have better cover if she does get flanked for some reason or something. It's the higher ground position, which is a brilliant battle strategy. Higher ground is always the best place to have. We saw it in the last episode when they make the kill box. Then we end up having one rogue low that pops up out of nowhere.
And Lena didn't notice the map on the map.
Of what it was.
It was marshland. Yeah. She notices the low, and then she looks to see, and she sees that
That Kirsch Blue
Blue is right there, and she's in marshland. She is in wetland with a robot. She's stuck.
and she
And-
shouts out, and it's too late. Not that way, and then Signal dies.
And this is where we get our episode title, I Don't Want to Die. It's the last words of Kirsch Blut right before her signal goes.
Yep, right. Signal, and the way the tone of the ending is for this series, it made the feelings even worse. Kind of, it hurt. It hit a little harder.
Oh yeah, it definitely did.
On
I
the way it,
know. Leary and I have talked about it quite a bit, like how this is emotionally, it's going to be very emotional, and it was very dark. Like it was a very dark moment.
the way this cap of the episode, then it goes to the ending, and its tone doesn't help with the situation. And then going into what's the after credits of sorry about that. She's talking, and then they're I can't tell who's actually talking to her.
Actually,
currently.
I found out who it is, because if you go back to the very beginning of the episode, when we see the inside HUD of the Juggernaut,
Yeah.
we get a close up of a face. It's the blonde hair and green eyes. It's Laughing Fox. It's Theo, the one who
Okay.
was drawing on the couch. And the more
That
that
makes sense,
conversation
because
went on, the more pissed off he was getting. And he rips her a new one.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
hypocrisy now.
Yeah, he's very angry at Lena. He's like, what are you sorry for? This is our friend that
You've
died.
never actually called us by our actual names. You've only called us by our code names.
Yeah.
He's
you-
basically
You've never
talking
been on the
about how you
battlefield.
can treat us nice and you can treat us kind, but you're still sending us out to do this. You're not stopping it. You don't actually care about us.
You don't call us 86 it's because you don't want to admit what we are. And you say you care about us, but you haven't even asked us our damn names. What our real names are. And like, I'm not gonna lie, I like he brings up like really good points. And as much as you see Lena start to just lose her mind over this whole thing, it's hard enough on Lena because she cares so much when she loses somebody in a squadron that she's commanding.
Yep.
It hurts her on a personal level.
And we know that now it's going to haunt her like it has for the past units that have passed
Mhm.
in her control.
hmm
And
Which
it's-
I kind of saw it coming. Like there was a part of
I-
me that saw it coming. It doesn't make it easier, and it was a very rough moment. But this in the end it's a pivotal moment that's going to hopefully make Lena stronger. It's something
What-
that she has to accept and something that she has to move with. And there's some harsh realities that she needs to learn.
what really brought this kind of moment, it was going to come soon, was in episode 2 when that little string that is on her chest over your uniform, when it was sitting in the locker and
Mhm.
it
The
fell.
clasp. Yeah.
Yeah.
The clasp.
Yeah.
When it fell, that really gave a deep feeling that something dark or even very depressing for Lena was going to come. And the way this series is going, it's not going to be 2 to 3 episodes later. It's going to be in the next episode.
Yeah, it's going to be now. And I think it's progressing quickly, which
Well,
is
they're
good.
only going to be 11 episodes, so it's like,
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's good because we're going to get to see a lot of
yeah.
these realizations pretty quickly.
And one theory I have is that she's going to end up going to that camp. It may not be. It could with the way this episode went. There's a possibility it could be at the very end of the next episode,
Or it might not be till the very end
or
of
a
the
couple
series.
episodes later down. But
Yeah. I assume she'll probably do the same. She'll eventually go there.
And
It's
I'm
going to
wondering
depending
if
on
she's
how
gonna
welcome she is.
how she's going to recover, but also how is she going to recover the somewhat bond that she has with them to actually get this title screen to happen.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really wondering, because you see how tore up she is. You see how bad Laughing Fox tears into her, and Shin doesn't stop it.
No one stops. They
Well, the
don't
only
because
one that could
they
stop
all
Laughing Fox
feel
would
it.
be Shin or
Yeah,
Black,
well,
Black Dog.
yeah, and they don't because he's speaking a truth that they all feel too.
Yeah.
I don't think they quite understand how Lena is different, but also they don't quite understand. Lena is very naive still too in a way. So
Yeah.
I think it's and she was warned.
She was.
And going back to something that we were talking about last episode, the symbolism with the lilies
Yep.
that she had in the vase. As soon as Laughing Fox, comes to the climax of this complete fit of rage that he's in, going off on Lena, and he says, "You haven't even bothered to ask us our real names," and we see a tear fall from her face, and it transitions back to her room, and we see the vase in the moonlight completely empty, no flowers in it at all. And so, I mean, what's your guys' take on exactly the symbolism here? Because
That's a really rough
I'm-
one because
yeah,
it's a hard one because there's really no solid details on what happens, but also it could be into fruition that everyone dies or she loses that connection with them and she's not their handler anymore. They get hand off to somebody else.
Lilies do symbolize death. If y'all didn't know that, it's
Yeah,
like
they do.
very popular to like put them on graves. So
Especially white ones because of the purity. It's seen as a purifying, cleansing thing. So, white lilies are, they signify death. They're the sadness of death, but then it's also like an odd, like cleansing new.
well, with those views, I guess my take is kind of shaping to the point of the lilies were actually representing Lena, and I think they represented her, like they discussed earlier, her naivete and her innocent virgin like take on the world, and how everybody should be treated equally and like humans, and 86 shouldn't be considered pigs and sent out to die for everybody like this. I think the fact that we see Lena completely break down in this moment with Laughing Fox chewing her out, and when she starts just bawling like that, we go back to the lilies being gone. I think this is symbolizing the fact that she's lost that innocence. She's having to realize this is the way it is, and nothing's going to change. What the hell am I even doing? What's the point in me even being here?
The best way to summarize this situation right now, definitely the way you're putting that, she's an egg, the shell is cracking, and now we are in the inside, and she's a brand new person. Or in another term, a cocoon. The cocoon is cracking, she's opening up, and it's gonna. I think she'll have the same personality, but her attitude is gonna be different.
It definitely, and I mean, I think there's going to be the realization that this battle, this fight, isn't the only thing that's happened. These are people. These are who are losing people. These are and if she wants to consider them to be her friends,
At least her comrades.
Yeah.
She wants to feel. She wants
As a fellow comrade,
to be on equal footing with them, even though technically she's a commanding officer to them.
Yep.
She wants to be viewed as an equal with them, and them to feel equal with her. And that's just never going to happen with the way
current
that the
state.
entire system. Yeah, with the way the system is. I think that this is one of those moments for a character that it's going to make or break the character.
Yeah.
Because she can take this moment and she can dwell on it and let it eat her away to the point where she gives up and she fades away, or she can take this and realize, you know what, this is absolute bull. This needs
next
to
thing
change.
we know, she's on the camp right there.
Yeah, and she says, you know what? It honestly wouldn't surprise me. Like
She
we
hits
were
a
saying
ride
earlier,
in the
that
next
she
bike
goes
race.
to the camp and she says, you know what? I'm not going to be your handler anymore. I'm going to be a freaking processor with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Or as she says, like, oh, the supplies are going to be a little late. Hops on the truck that's taking the supplies out, shows up.
Yeah, I'm here now.
But I could honestly see Lena being one of those people that says, you know what? Screw being a handler. I'm going to be a processor.
Yeah.
I could see her actually going out in the field and being right there with them, arm in arm.
Agree. So I think we've covered everything to a very detailed and actually on the way a lot of feelings have gone through on this episode. Anyone that has been listening or watching for this episode and last episode, leave a comment. Give us your thoughts. This is one that we would love to have some audience interaction with because there's a lot of deep, touchy subjects in here. We would love it in the other episodes or any other thing we do, but this is one that to really get a deep conversation in, be nice to have some audience interaction with.
Mm-hmm.
So, as always, I'm Rainwolf throughout the week, or even so. I'll be streaming a little bit here and there. Outriders with my good friends Wonder Llama and Grizzly Tyrant. With us, upload should be back to normal on Wednesday. Only reason it went up to Thursday because we did our recording on Monday. That's all for me.
All right. Well, as always, thanks for joining us, everybody. And this is Kirito Silverheart.
This is Asuna Silverheart.
And this is Lyria.
Leave a like, comment, and maybe even subscribe and show us the love. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.